What's going on, everybody? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Washington quarter errors and varieties that are going to be worth substantially more money from 1960 to 1964, so all of the silver quarters in the 60s. And the way that we'll do it is I'll have clear photos of the errors, and it's a complete list of everything that PCGS or another grading company would officially recognize. And then below that, below the clear picture, I'll explain it and then show you the values based off of what condition the coin is in. So looking forward to giving you the full equipment that you need to start searching, and let's get right into the video. And our first coin for the day is going to be a more challenging to see repunch mint mark on the 1961 D quarter, and it's a northern repunching, and you can see kind of the traces of the D mint mark at the top of this specific one. In AU55 it's about $50, Mint State 63 is $100, and Mint State 65 goes up to $200. There's also a repunch mint mark that's a little more faint, and you can see more of the loop of the D mint mark and the trace of it all throughout kind of in the northeast part of it. AU55 is $30, Mint State 63 is $75, and Mint State 65 is $165. The next one is a extremely extra thick double die obverse, and all the lettering is, has a lot more of that thickness. I think that the easy way to tell in terms of some of the letters where the comparison is most obvious would be in the R, especially in kind of the leg of the R, as well as the N kind of appears pretty bloated, and you can also see a bit of separation in the W up there. AU55 is $30, Mint State 63 is $75, and Mint State 65 is $165. And these values can kind of range because it can be challenging to tell, again, like how much demand is there for this. Sometimes it's really hard to get it, so two people bid it up, it gets a lot of a high price, whereas if only one is interested, they can go way lower. 1962 D repunch mint mark quarter might be another example where, you can see the repunching pretty clearly here, the D over D. AU55 is $30, Mint State 63 is $70, and Mint State 65 is $125. Then there's a double die obverse on the 1963 quarter. This one you can see kind of bars all throughout the N, the R, the the E kind of in the base of it, and the G all through this one. And there's also a little bit of that going on in the 9 and the date and the 6, but the value is still a little bit depressed, only $20 to $75, which I'm surprised by. There's also a double die reverse to look for. With the double die obverse, you can see the still spread in the R along the E in the left part of the G and the T. And then also that separation continuing over into the right part of the F. AU55 is $15, Mint State 63 is $45, and Mint State 65 is $100. There's a third double die where it's most clearly seen as an extra spread in the 6, as well as a little bit on the underneath of the lower part of the R, but especially in that 6. This one's $30 for AU, $150 and $300 in Mint State, so a little higher value at that point. We then get into a double die obverse that I think really on the 1963, the real place to search for is in that C. A lot of the other places where it might present are more challenging to tell that it's there, but with this C, it's going to be worth $85 in AU, ranging up to $500 for Mint State 65. And there's just a very clear separation there. There's also a double die obverse that you can see it if you have it kind of on the underneath part of the 9 and notching in the 1 in the date, as well as notching throughout the Y extra kind of bar on the side there, as well as some notching in the lower part of the T and the R. AU55 is $40, Mint State 63 is about $80, and Mint State 65 is $225. We also see some doubling on the 1964 quarter in the double die obverse. There's going to be plenty of errors, so we're not super close to being done yet. So strap in. There's a clear notching in the T and the R again. In God We Trust, often where a lot of the doubling presents itself. also some bars here on the side of the I and the N. And this one goes from about $25 in AU55 up to $200 in Mint State 65. There's many double die reverses, and this one's pretty clear. Clear doubling in the side of the T, the E, the D, the O, all of that. AU55 $75, and Mint State 65 is $400, and then ranges up from there. There's also one where it's more of a northward spread. So AU55 is $50, then it ranges up significantly, but it's clearly doubled, especially in the top of the E and the T there. There's a double die reverse where it's seen more in the side of the S, the serif in the S, and the top serifs of the T, both T's, the S up there, the E. AU55 is $50, Mint State 63 is $100, and Mint State 65 is $250, then gets higher from there. And then there's also, again, lots of these double die reverses seen in the bottom lettering. This one's quite valuable, and this is more of a clear leftward spread in the A, the R, the E, and then the second, all of this lettering, the T, the O, all quite clear. AU55 is $200 all the way up to $800 for Mint State 65 find. There's also a 64D double die obverse, and this is quite clear. Like normal, the best place to search for it is in that R, just a clear separation there when it is doubled, and it's a little harder to detect it in the other letters, maybe a little bit in that N. And this one's going to be $50 to $450 at the top. And then there's also a double die reverse that's quite clear throughout the America. You can see it a little bit in the E pluribus unum, but those letters are always smaller. So I try to kind of show you all this leftward spread in the R, the I, the C, the A in the America lettering between 100. It's interesting, there's not much of a jump from AU55 to Mint State 63, but $100, $150 for that, and $300 in Mint State 65. There's also a variety of Repunch mint marks. Some have different price history, and the ones on the right have been more expensive. It's the same Repunching, just that kind of rightward spread. That one sold for about $300 in AU58, whereas on the left, this one has lower values, 30 to 100 in terms of its price history. There's also some errors that I should mention, and they run from 1956 to 1964 at the Philadelphia Mint only. And these are type B reverse quarters. Normally, they were running, they were using business strike dies where the E and the S were very close, basically touching, but then they used some of the coins that normally would have struck the proof design, but with business strikes, and we got this separation. A lot of the value is paid when these are in really good condition, so it won't mean quite as much to find it like in a junk silver bin where it's pretty circulated. You still could though, and that would be great, but a lot of the value again will be kind of towards the higher grades. And then the last one is 1964D. There's the type C reverse, which continues the separation from the type B, but the best marker, I think, is that the A is no longer touching the leaf, and the leaves are not quite as well defined as on the type B. And this one is going to be worth between $100 in AU55 up to $400 for Mint State 65, so more of a floor and more value and rarity all throughout. So a lot of errors in just a short 5-year time frame, really 4, since there's nothing from 1960, and good luck finding them. Would definitely have some significant value associated. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and get in touch with me on my website, treasuretownYT.com, Facebook, TreasureTown, Instagram @TreasureTownYT, or Twitter @TreasureTown_YT, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my future vids.